I'm so glad you asked this question. Now I can say about 30-minute rebuttal, or 30-second rebuttal. Immigration is a good example where government has taken a problem and made it worse. Stossel just did a piece on this not 2 or 3 months ago, where I got my information on this. If you are a PhD and you live in, say, India, you want to immigrate to the United States, you go through the process legally, it'll take you between 5 and 7 years to become a naturalized citizen of the United States. Reasonable. Most of us would say, not bad. In the meantime, they can come here and they can work, build their families, become part of a community. If you're an undereducated migrant worker from, say, Mexico, you want to immigrate to this country legally, in order to go through the system, it requires 130 years. There's your problem. If you make a law, and then you make it impossible to follow, people won't follow it. That's not a hard lesson to learn. The problem we have is bad immigration policy. It needs to be worked out and fixed through Congress that will make it easier for people to come here legally. They're looking for the same things they always look for: a better life, the dream that America offers them is what they want. Don't make it an impossible dream, make it a possible dream, and we'll have much less of an immigration problem.
Well, in Texas, you have, we're right on the border, and we certainly see plenty of people coming across. And these poor immigrants who are coming across pay thousands of dollars to a guide to guide them through the Chihuahua Desert and Texas Desert to get them in. And then along with that, you have the drug lords that are bringing in drugs and other not nice people. So everybody that's roaming around out there in that desert is suspect. Let these folks who are not that necessarily that destitute, I guarantee they would rather be riding a Greyhound bus up Interstate 35 than they would be marching through that desert. Anybody in their right mind would. And then anybody that's roaming around out there in the desert is known to be up to no good. So I'd say let the immigrants, I don't see any problem with them proving that they are not criminals to begin with, or that they don't have some horrible communicable disease that can't be stopped. But otherwise, I pretty much favor open borders. We have an open border between Oklahoma and Texas, and there's not much problem there. And I'm one that doesn't think there's that much problem with my Mexican friends, which I have many.
Nobody's trying to get into Oklahoma.
What was the score?
Did Texas play this year?
When I discuss this issue with my fellow citizens, usually what I get, the angst that I get about immigration is that the socialistic services that the immigrants use, that they haven't paid into, and or the jobs that they may or may not have taken, or the perception of jobs that they may or may not have taken. So my response is to what that ought to be, what the policy ought to be, is it has to incorporate a little bit of an economic policy, because I intend to work to eliminate all the unconstitutional socialism at the federal level. So that way that removes the first impediment to other citizens accepting more permissive immigration, because then that part of it's gone. But also it removes the massive tax burden that it requires to pay for that socialism upon business and small business, so that way there's more total jobs to go around, and so once again, folks aren't going to be so much fighting over the scraps of the jobs that remain. So I would, on a twofold deal, I would work to eliminate all the socialism at the federal level, number one. But number two, then fight for a permissive immigration policy, so that way we can increase the size of our middle class and compete with the other emerging capitalistic markets around the world, like what we're seeing in China and India. We need to be able to compete with those consumer bases by increasing our middle class.
It's very complicated, and there's so many different issues involved here that it's hard to just say what you would do, but you should have a just, fair policy, one that people can apply and have a short period of time in which they can be accepted. There is the issue of whether we should favor people that have skills or not favor them. We now have a policy of importing people that have skills when we don't require our schools to teach those skills. So I think we ought to be looking at that why are we importing people when we're not really teaching persons with those skills. But all of that said and done, I have no idea what really needs to be done in immigration. It's a real thorny problem and something that has to be addressed, but I don't have any answer to it.
Is it possible for me to use my 30 seconds, even though I'm not really rebutting anybody, but, okay. I wanted to add something to that. We do have to accept and respect the fact that there also is a lot of cross-border nefarious activity going on with organized crime and so forth, human trafficking and whatnot. And that has nothing to do with legal immigration. That has to do with, border state property owners being terrorized by criminal syndicates from across the border. And so it's kind of tied to the issue because we are working on, we're talking about the border. And so in addition to a permissive immigration policy, we also need to be prepared to defend those border state property owners from the criminal activity, not from immigrants, not from immigration. That's not what's causing it.
Everybody gets one rebuttal and you can use it.
I have a very good friend who's a Mexican national, and he's here legally. He is on visa. He's got 3 children. He's bought his own house. He has 5 or 6 vehicles, one of which is a $100,000 pickup truck. He's a contractor building houses. His daughter is brilliant. She's been offered 4-year scholarships at some very nice schools, but she can't accept them because she wasn't born in the United States. What have we lost in this country because she now has to go back to Mexico, a country she's never known? And I don't see where that doing us much good. I'm sorry. I was trying to use my carryover for a second.
You went into some of your carryover. All right, I believe we're back to you, Lee, to start. We're doing fine on time.
I'll give this one 7.5 seconds.
It's very similar to how are you going to save the world?
Say yes or
It's very similar to that. However, I'm going to give you 90 seconds on this one, and the subject is the Federal Reserve. The Constitution of the United States provides the national government with the power to form money. Considering that the Federal Reserve is provided for by law, and that the Fed controls the only nationally recognized legal tender in this country at this time, what Constitution-permitted acts will you or can you do concerning the Fed?
Well, what my advisors have been telling me, this is a sticky wicket. The president doesn't actually have a lot of power over the Fed. The Fed is a private organization. He could choose not to appoint a chair, for instance. Whatever good that'll do, because the board will just meet and appoint their own chair. Fed is a big problem. It's a huge part of the problem. It reminds me of history when one of the biggest reasons that it says in the Constitution that the government will be allowed to coin money. It's because they had already learned firsthand how horribly bad paper money was. The old saying back then was this, something's not worth a continental. That's what they were talking about, a continental dollar, paper dollar. This country was formed by assuming debt. That's how the federal government started. Hamilton talked all the states into allowing the government to assume their debt in the Revolutionary War and start churning out money. Funny, part of the answer is in your question. The legal tender laws. The best thing we do in this country is repeal all legal tender laws, return competing currencies to the market, We don't have to worry about the Fed before long. Those greenbacks will go away because people are going to want real money.
Roger.
Back in the early 1960s, and one of our fellow candidates and others already alluded to that, the United States government's issued the United States notes. The biggest difference between them and a Federal Reserve note was across the top it said United States note instead of Federal Reserve note. And it had red serial numbers and with a red seal instead of the green serial numbers and green seal. However, underlying that is that they weren't paying interest to anybody to use those. They just, it was a little more honest counterfeiting than we're doing now. It's just put out there. The last series of those were printed in 1963, and there was an assassination that year, and a lot of people think they're related. I don't know. But what can the president actually do? Right now, I don't know all the particulars, but I'd sure like to find out. If I'm elected, we'll find out what can be done. You know, you can't just slam the brakes on the economy, like, that'd be like running into a brick wall. You've got to do things gently. Which doesn't mean drawing it out 100 years.
All right, RJ.
Recognizing that the power to coin and regulate our money is reserved to the Congress under Article 1, Section 8, I do recognize that it's something that the president cannot fix unilaterally or on his or her own. However, great Americans in our past, including Henry Ford and Andrew Jackson, pointed out that if Americans understood the gross injustice of our banking and our banking system, there would be a revolution by morning. And so, working with what an executive can do, first thing I would do is appoint the most libertarian person available to the Department of Justice, and then I would direct the Department of Justice to begin an investigation, an audit, if you will, of the Federal Reserve. And I believe that we don't need a congressional act to do that because we already have very credible allegations of nefarious goings-on over at the Federal Reserve, and so it's incumbent that it be investigated right away. So I would launch an audit of the Federal Reserve right away as president, and then let that results be made available to the American people, who could then start demanding action from their Congress to act under Article 1, Section 8 to fix the problem, once they see how deep the problem really is.